Well, hello there, and welcome to the story of us, from cosmic dawn to the depths of being. I'm your host, Jeff Ellison, and thanks for tuning in today. I hope you had a chance to listen to our most recent episode that we called Let It Be Enough with my new friend, Melanie Love. Now, during that conversation, I was reminded of something I wanted to share with you guys. So I thought this special edition would be really timely on the heels of our conversation with Melanie. And here's what I want to tell you. Some days, I feel like we treat ourselves like computer devices, charging overnight, powering through daylight hours, running task after task until something inside of us glitches. We freeze up. We begin to lag. And then eventually, we crash. At the end of our day, our brains feel like the rainbow-colored spinning wheel of death on my computer. And somewhere along the way, our world convinced us that this is normal. But here's the truth that we keep forgetting. We aren't machines. We're humans. I'm a human. You're a human. You're a soul, a living, breathing, sometimes messy, often emotional, imperfect, but miraculous person. You need music that loosens up your shoulders, people who call you by your first name, sunsets that remind you to pause, and every once in a while, a good old-fashioned belly laugh that reminds you you're still alive inside. Machines, they run. Us humans, we feel. And if the feeling part has gone a little quiet for you lately, that doesn't mean you're broken inside. It means you're overwhelmed, stuck in survival mode in a world that rewards speed, productivity, and constant, relentless acceleration. Modern life hums with a relentless refrain. Keep going. Don't slow down. Do more. Be more. Produce more. Bigger, faster, stronger. But survival isn't the point of being alive, is it? Life isn't supposed to feel like a battle to stay upright on a treadmill stuck a few speeds too high. It's not something to simply endure. It's an experience meant to be inhabited with your whole unguarded self. So pause. Take a few long, slow, deep breaths. Now let yourself remember what calmness feels like. And better yet, this afternoon, take a few minutes, look up at the evening sky. Its colors change each night. A free reminder that presence is the one thing capable of slowing down time. Whether you take the time to recognize it or not, the natural world is still speaking to you. It's there to remind you. You're here to live, not just hustle. The inbox, it can wait. The grind, it can wait too. This moment in time won't. Life isn't supposed to be an never-ending to-do list. Somewhere along the way, our self-worth got tangled up in checkboxes. Maybe if we cross off enough, we'll feel like enough. But life isn't a spreadsheet. It's a gift. So today, walk slower, hug a little longer, laugh a lot louder. And yeah, I, I know the clock is ticking, but your presence is the part of you that can magically slow down the minutes. It's true what our elders have always told us, and it's probably worth repeating here. The days seem long, but the years go by so fast. So, if that's true, why do we rush as if we're racing some cosmic clock, forgetting that the point of the journey is not the finish line, but all the living that happens in between? But here's the thing, us humans, we didn't just wake up stressed in the 21st century. This restlessness isn't new to us, it's ancient. Humans have always carried an anxious drumbeat inside us, a biological voice in our head that says, "Ooh, this is good. But what else can we do? What else is out there?" We're just not hardwired to accept the status quo. Quite the opposite. Comfort feels for a moment pretty good. Then we start tinkering and upgrading or expanding, not because we're ungrateful, but because human evolution rewarded the curious, the bold, and the brave. The ones who asked, "What's next?" Those were the ones that survived and advanced. And our secret fuel? Dopamine, the brain chemical that gets blamed for every modern addiction. However, contrary to what you may think, dopamine, it's not actually about pleasure. It's about pursuit and desire, ambition. It's about forward motion. Dopamine fires not when we have something, but when we want something. As the author Daniel Lieberman explains in his book, The Molecule of More, it's a good one, you should read it. He says, wanting and liking are produced by two different systems in the brain. So we often don't like the things we want. To me, that distinction matters. Desire isn't the same as satisfaction, and chasing more doesn't guarantee us happiness. It really only guarantees more chasing. Now, once upon a time, when humans lived with scarcity and constant threat, this drive was essential to us. Our ancestors survived because dopamine pushed them to explore and innovate and gather and hunt and improve. Lieberman talks about this too. He reminds us dopamine was the engine of progress, and, and it still is. Dopamine's not all that bad. It's helping build the modern world, our technologies, our megacities, our art, our ambitions. But that same system that once kept us alive now pushes us past healthy limits. It's urging us forward even when we desperately need to stop. Throughout the story of us, dopamine has helped mankind do some wonderful things. Leave the comfort of our caves, dare to cross oceans and navigate the globe, build these marvelous cities, and paint Renaissance masterpieces. It helped us invent amazing medicine. It helped us walk on the lunar surface. And yeah, it even gave us social media. But zoom out on human history, and a funny and slightly terrifying pattern starts to emerge. We take good ideas, we crank them up to 11, and run with them until they implode in our face. So, for example, agriculture, it saved us. But then we farmed civilizations into dust and forgot how to survive without it. Coal powered progress. Then it powered climate collapse and economic devastation in the rural communities that learned to depend on it. Automobiles, they gave us freedom and the supposed tranquility of suburban life. And then they trapped us in gridlock and smog. Even social media connected us. It was a great thing. Then it started to fracture our attention. It began to erode our trust and challenged our sanity, to be honest. Us humans, we get excited about a new tool, and before we know it, we've built our lives around it. Humans always know how to take a good thing and just, pardon my language, kill the ass out of it, especially the things we love most. Man, college football. small local businesses, arguably our liberal democracy. They're all stretched thin by our obsession with more and faster, bigger and better. If you want the ultimate analogy for our dopamine driven tendency to push everything to extremes, look at the climate crisis. We found fuel, we burned it, then we burned more, then we invented machines to burn it even faster. Our planet warmed. Yeah, we shrugged it off. It warmed some more, shrugged again. And our information ecosystem has followed that same trajectory. A little data was helpful. More data was pretty interesting. And now too much has become overwhelming. We now suddenly find ourselves facing what scientists call a cognitive crisis. We'll say a warming world of the mind. Our attention span is overheated. Our emotional soil is eroding. Our informational oceans are drowning us, and they're rising beyond human scale. Now, we like to imagine ourselves to be endlessly adaptable, but biologically speaking, humans evolve at a pace better suited to calendars that were once carved on stone tablets. The brain you carry around with you today, it was sculpted tens of thousands of years ago for a very different world. A world that moved slowly, predictably, and with far fewer demands. This gap between what we're built for and what we're living in has a name too. It's called evolutionary mismatch. This means our bodies and brains are calibrated for an environment that, quite frankly, no longer exists. So, for most of human history, we lived in small groups and made only a handful of decisions every day. Our stress responses were triggered by rare, immediate, real dangers like giant animals that wanted to eat us for dinner. Our senses were tuned to the natural rhythms, the rhythms of the world, the sunrise and the sunset, the changing of the seasons, the movement of the planets around our orbit. And our information stream was tiny and local. But today we navigate more information in a single day than our ancestors encountered in their entire lifetime. Our ancient wiring wasn't designed for constant noise and endless choice or digital audiences in the millions. That's where our stress systems begin to falter. Our bodies still think we're protecting us from roving packs of hungry wolves. It's the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode. It works beautifully when a predator crosses our path. But it wasn't designed for this chronic, low grade stressors of modern life: emails and social comparison, constant deadlines, uncertainty. Every ping, every alert, every urgent demand flips that same ancient switch inside your brain. Now, not enough to make you race up to the top of the closest tree, but enough to keep you perpetually bracing for impact. That's why burnout feels so physical. Your body thinks it's saving your life over and over and over again every day. And the system that should calm your nerves, it struggles to keep up. Balancing stress is the job of your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and restore mode that slows your heartbeat and deepens your breathing and tells your body that, man, everything's going to be okay. But this system evolved expecting long stretches of calm, cool, and collected. Our modern life gives it seconds. It can fully engage when we're it can't fully engage when we're constantly rushing, scrolling, or reacting to things. So we end up stuck between activation and full exhaustion. Never truly fully alert, but never fully at ease either. That's the heart of the evolutionary mismatch. A Stone Age nervous system trying to survive in a world of perpetual alarms. So, of course, we're tired. Of course, we're overloaded. Of course, meaning feels harder for us to access. Guys, this isn't failure. It's biology 101. It's humanity trying to meet machine expectations. And understanding this is where the healing begins. So, what do we do with all this? Our ancient wiring, our overloaded systems, our very human need for a slow walk in the woods in a world that's built for speed. We can start by remembering that awareness itself is our superpower. And once you understand the mismatch, once you see that your exhaustion is biological and it's not a character flaw, you can stop blaming yourself for struggling. You're not weak. You're running an operating system that wasn't designed for this much noise. And that means the path forward isn't about trying harder. It's about making different choices. Instead of living in constant fight or flight, we can create moments that activate our parasympathetic, restorative systems. Breathing, nature, quiet time, unhurried connection with other humans, real restorative rest. These aren't luxuries we should feel guilty about. Absolutely not. They're necessities to us. Instead of chasing endless more, we can begin asking, what truly makes me feel alive? And instead of letting technology dictate our pace, we can reclaim what biology has always told us. Humans thrive best in steady rhythm, not perpetual acceleration. So here's the real invitation. Can you make room for joy? Can you make room for a little stillness? Can you make room for the parts of you that don't produce or perform or progress in any measurable way, but make you, well, make you you? Your life is allowed to feel like life. Your days are allowed to feel human. And you don't need to earn rest or joy or stillness. You need them because you're made of breath and bone and memory, not metal, wire, and code. You aren't a machine, and you never were. And the moment you stop trying to live like one, something remarkable can happen. Clarity returns, energy levels out, and meaning, long buried under urgency, starts to rise to the surface again. This is the turning point. This is where the healing becomes possible. This is where the story shifts from merely surviving to fully living. The great Ram Dass once said, everybody is driven to go for more until they can, in the depths of their inner being, say, this is enough. And they can only say that when it is. Yeah, that's the truth of our constant striving. We don't push because we're greedy or ungrateful. We push because something in us believes we haven't arrived yet. More effort, more growth, more proof. That striving feels necessary, like survival. And still, that little voice in our head says, no, not yet. You can feel it manifest in your body. The shoulders that won't drop, the jaw that never releases, a quiet sense of incompleteness or uneasiness that follows you even on your best days. Enoughness can't be achieved. You can't think your way through it. It doesn't come from the outside. It arises when you finally believe what your mind has long suspected. You're already where you're supposed to be, still breathing, still worthy of letting it be enough. That realization rarely comes through effort. It often comes through exhaustion, through the moment the performance falls completely away and nothing very essential is lost in the meantime. You don't have to keep proving. You don't have to keep reaching and grasping. Rest was never meant to be a reward. It was always possible. It's always available. If you pause now, you may notice where you're still holding on tight, the subtle tension of trying to stay ahead. But let me ask you this: what would it feel like to let that soften? Just for a breath. Now, I wrote a little poem, and I am not Ralph Waldo Emerson, but I wrote a poem that I hope you can carry with you. It's available on our website for you to print off and stick in your cubicle. And here it goes. We're not the sum of our schedules, not the blur of our busy days, not the dings and pings and glowing screens that beg for pieces of our attention. We're breath and heartbeat, sunrise and memory, unfinished stories wrapped in complex emotions. We're adventurers learning to walk slower, listeners learning to hear again, souls learning to lift our faces toward the light after far too many hours bent forward in a digital world. The river of life rushes fast, but we don't have to. We can choose to linger on the quiet banks, soak for hours in the deeper waters, cherish those moments that remind us we were made for living, not just for enduring. So pause here with me in this small, fully human place, and remember, your presence is the gift. Your story is the bridge. And we belong to each other more than the noise would ever let us believe. So, if this message touched something in you today, if it reminded you to slow down to reclaim what matters, stay connected with us at the Story of Us Project. Visit our website at www.thestoryofuSproject.com. You can subscribe, follow, listen, read, whatever keeps you grounded and growing. And if someone in your life is overwhelmed, tired, or navigating the same digital space we're all trying to survive, share this with them. That might be a friend, a partner, a parent, a coworker, anyone who might need a reminder that they're human, they're worthy, and that they aren't alone. Together we rise by remembering each other. We heal by telling our stories, and we find our way forward together. So come be a part of the conversation. Come be part of our community, and come be part of the story of us. All right, until next time, peace be with you, my friends.